Okay, welcome back. We have a developing story, unfortunately, that we still have to focus on. It's all playing out there or developing in Polokwane, and on the ground is Pule Letshwiti Jones, ANC Youth League members at the gate of a venue where it's supposed to be hosting a memorial in honor of Peter Mokaba. Let's take a listen there. Zizi Kodwa is addressing the crowd.
We don't want to go without them. Please.
We are resolving the problem. We will come back. We have you. All right.
We were here before them.
This is your event.
Some of them. Listen to you. We're not here to fight anyone. We want to get inside and listen to us.
People who were the first to arrive here, they were given an invitation. This one, they just want to invade the hall. Because remember, yesterday's event, Women's League event, it was postponed on the basis of compliance. Now, our leadership have told us that we are only going to allow 288 people in the hall. But these comrades here, they just want to render this event useless. They don't want us to comply in terms of the COVID regulations. So what they are doing here, we are just...
Well, there we go, Britain. It seems as though the message is quite clear, saying that
these people are correct. You can't give slave queens tax and give volunteers.
it seems as though the message is quite clear that there seems to be some disruptions that have taken place here to try and cause chaos that this program does not take place. The Deputy Minister of State Security, Zizi Kodwa, saying that he will come back with a message and try to address it. But it seems as though this will not end right now. We are still waiting for a message whether the president will be making his way here. I assume that they're still trying to ensure that security checks are in place and that all COVID-19 regulations will be complied with, unlike what we witnessed yesterday. And that's one of the ANC Youth League members as well of the national task team, trying to address the supporters, I guess, and the members who are there. Now, we've been told that the venue can only accommodate about 280 people, but there seems to be a group of young people outside, amongst others, who would want to make their way into the venue. And while that's the case, we understand that that cannot be the case, and that officials now are on high alert of anything that can take place. But outside, it's very messy, Pradan. There seems to be a split of divisions amongst these young people, while others are preaching a different message of saying this is just a move to try and sabotage the event. Others, they're quite angered by the fact that they're saying their administrative processes are biased and that not everyone is receiving tags to make their way inside.
Pule, we cross live to you just as Zizi Kodwa was about to finish. I heard him say to the crowd, comrades, we are addressing the problem. I'll come back to you. What else did he tell them before he promised his comrades to address their problem?
Well, some of these young people from these different ANC Youth League structures are quite, I would say, angered as well, and they're speaking at the same time. So it's quite very difficult to have one message come across for the Deputy Minister to try and address them. That's all he could say, Pretend. Even just before you came, he tried to address them, but as he was about to address them, they were interjecting, wanting to get their points across and their challenges across. And therefore, the only side note that he left left with them was to say that we have heard your challenges and I'll come back to address it. And while that's the case, he also pleaded with them not to vandalize or destroy the gates, because there seems to be also, just a bit of unruly behavior taking place outside. Our mic cap was also at some point, they wanted to take it off and we tried to get it back on. So, there's quite a lot of things happening outside, and it's just a moment from now till we wait for the Deputy Minister to come here and address them, and we hear what is the final way from here onwards.
Yeah, it looks like there's a lot of ill discipline and unruliness there by a part of that crowd, and you say there's a lot of division. Pule, there's a point. Let's keep those visuals live for a while, showing our viewers what's happening there just behind you at the gate while we are talking. You said they say they're going to take only 200 odd people into the venue. Has anybody arrived? Did anybody else arrive before the gate was closed? Before what you are seeing started to happen? Are any people inside the hall?
Well, what we understand is that the mayor of Polokwane, Reporter Pule, is here right now. But we're just going to go try and make our way to the Deputy Minister of State Security, Zizi Kota, to give us some clarity as to what is happening here.
Yeah, take it easy as you walk there, because your signal becomes a little bit blurry. We keep on losing you. We keep on losing you as you are moving there. Apologies for that, and you'll appreciate it. Live television, a developing story on the ground in Polokwane at that venue that is supposed to be hosting this afternoon. We were told originally from about 3:30 the memorial lecture in honor of the late ANC Youth League leader and activist, of course, Peter Mugabe, which is supposed to be delivered by President of the ANC, Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa. Now there's been an issue over the last hour, within the last hour or so, as we're building up to 3:30, a group of members of the ANC Youth League structures arriving at the gate, and accreditation was requested, the tags were requested, none of them had them, and they were told they can't go in. Then they started protesting at the gate. Now let's go back there now live to Pule. Pule, are you back with us?
Non-compliance of COVID-19. This venue cannot accommodate those outside. What will be the
500 people?
We seem to be having a problem. We're staying live as much as we can. Hopefully the audio works with us and the connection works with us. Apologies for that. Let's try and listening again.
The organizers of this event must talk to the invited attendees to the event, which is what they are doing at the moment.
Okay. And as it is right now, will the president be making his way to despite what's going on outside?
No, the president is mandated to be here anytime, but the issues are being attended. But the president, in terms of the protocols and the program of this event, the president will come to the event.
It will be just the last question. There seems to be some sort of, seriousness and, of course, concerns around security. We saw again today one building belonging to government being burned, and, of course, other buildings such as Parliament and the Concourt as well. And we're seeing this as well. Are there concerns around security, the president's security?
No, I don't think there's any connection, a link between this event and what is happening. We are concerned from a security point of view as a national security in terms of some of the events that we have noticed, including the reported incident where there is an attack on Concourt. Obviously, we can't talk much about Cape Town Parliament because investigations are still underway. From a security point of view, we are concerned about certain incidences in the country, but that on its own does not create a situation that we can say the country is unstable. Yes, there are incidences which worry us. We are following those incidences.
All right. So as of yesterday, you can also comply that there was nothing serious around the president's security as well?
No, I can assure you there was no security risk, there was no security threat to the president, but it was important that we comply. And the issues of compliance is important, particularly from the head of state. I'm sure you saw the numbers that were there. It was important that we do that.
So how are you going to resolve this issue happening outside now?
The leadership of the Youth League is there now talking to the members.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, there you go. Again, I'm going to speak to also Joy from the ANC Youth League. Joy, thank you very much for joining us on eNCA. Now, just give us a moment and tell us what is going on outside. There seems to be a problem in terms of administrative processes, and they're complaining about tags being distributed biasly as well.
Okay, thank you very much. Firstly, the problem outside is actually because of the COVID-19 regulations. So we've got strict numbers that must be inside the hall. So obviously you understand it's a program of the ANC. Young people came here because they've seen the program being populated. So tags were distributed by structures of the ANC Youth League, conveners and coordinators of the ANC Youth League. So there is no biased distribution of tags. It's just that the number outside, it's more, and the number that can only get inside is less. So we are trying to speak with the leadership of the ANC to try and find an alternative means so that the president can address young people. All the young people that are inside, that are outside, are young people who are members of the Youth League. And the only thing they want is to listen to the president of the ANC. So we have no issues. The only problem is that we need to comply with the COVID-19 regulations.
Joy, as a convener, does this, as a coordinator rather, sorry, does this actually concern you regarding what is happening? Because they are saying that there are some factional processes that are taking place. And you remember just earlier this year, there was a bit of infighting that was happening in the ANC Youth League as well.
Look, we can assure you there is no factional distribution of tags. There is structures of the ANC Youth League from regions who have been tasked with giving text and allocating text to delegations from regions. Those are structures. They are structures that are recognized by us as a higher structure. So there is no factional distribution. The reality of the matter is that there is less numbers that can be allowed inside, and there is more numbers outside. So any other person who has not received a tag will definitely perceive it as being a biased allocation. And we want to deal with that. We want to find an alternative means of the president speaking to them so that there is no that perception that there was a biased allocation of tags.
So can I be assured this event will take place?
Yes, you can be assured that we are working to try and ensure that it does not collapse.
Joy, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Coordinator of the ANC Youth League, Joy Mamela, giving us a brief of what is currently going on. Actually, just before the ANC Youth League is expected to go to a conference in March, and while that's the case, but then you remember earlier this year there was also challenges that the structure was encountering in terms of age misrepresentations and amongst other issues, the divisions that had been spiraling within the structure. Now this is very important that they have this memorial lecture in terms of the progressiveness of the structure and how far they've come to this point. And while that's the case, we also hear the Deputy Minister of State Security, Zizikota, saying that they are looking into this problem. Now, what I can tell you now, the Youth League is going into a crisis meeting. Now, you can see that they gathered there by the corner, and there seems to be a very urgent caucus that's taking place amongst them to try and address the situation. We are being told that the venue can accommodate 500 people. We were told earlier it can only accommodate 200 people. The information is still distorted, and that's what we're trying to find out as to how many people can be accommodated inside. There are scores of young people outside who want to make their way in, but it doesn't seem as though this will be the case. It will be interesting to find out what is the outcome that comes out from the crisis ANC Youth League National Task Team meeting that's currently taking place there just a few meters away from the entrance leading into the wall where the event is expected to take place.
Yeah, it looks like they have to find a solution because just hearing the two people you've just spoken to, the Pule, they want the event to proceed. I mean, it might become an embarrassment to the ANC if a second event in just 2 days, building up towards its 110th birthday celebrations tomorrow in Polokwane, gets cancelled. I mean, yesterday we saw the ANC Women's League Lillian Ngoyi Memorial Lecture cancelled due to COVID-19 protocols, and we are hearing from the ANC Youth League coordinator there, who spoke to you a short while ago, saying it's all about complying with the COVID-19 regulations, that they cannot allow any more people than this venue can take in terms of those regulations there inside. They have to resolve this, because if they don't, then for the second day running, the president won't deliver any lecture.
Well, yes, definitely. This is about, getting your house in order, very importantly. And remember, looking at the background of last year's 109th anniversary statement that was delivered on January. Nine structures.
Yeah, we've got a stage as well, Pule, as you are answering there. That position you are holding there, sometimes we lose you, but we're showing our viewers, Pule, live visuals of the stage there. Inside there, you can see it's all set and ready for Matamela Cyril Ramaphosa and his delegation to deliver that much-awaited ANC Youth League memorial lecture in honor of one of its previous leaders, Peter Mokaba. But outside, there's chaos at the gate. There's disagreement, and more numbers than are permitted inside want to come in, but the gate is closed and there's a kind of a protest. The people are, ANC Youth League members are saying we want to come in, and the organizers say no, you can't come in. The venue is too small for to house more than 200 odd people, and we have more people now. We need to control this. We understand, as we saw a short while ago from Pule Letshwiti Jones and our cameraman there on the ground, that the ANC Youth League members who are present there are now meeting urgently to try and resolve this. And they're at the gate, as you can see, the visuals there that we're bringing you. Apologies for the movement. There's a lot of movement happening there. There's still that kind of protest action, and the gate remains closed. But inside is all calm. If you were sitting inside that hall now, you were not aware what's happening at the gate. You would think everything is kosher, everything is cool, and everything is going to go well. Yeah. But now we know that there's problems outside. Pule, I think you're back with us outside. There's somehow a position that works for you. As soon as you move away from that position, we lose your signal. Especially the position closer to the gate seems to work best in terms of connectivity. Pule, what is the latest? We did show visuals currently inside. It's all set inside. The stage is set, but outside there's still a little bit of chaos.
Yep. Oh, pretend. Look, I'm going to try to stand here for connection stability. But what I was saying earlier on is that, of course, just a quick recap for those joining us, that the ANC Youth League has now gone into its crisis meeting to try and find a way as to how they're going to resolve the mini protests that are taking place just outside the entrance leading into the wall. Now, this also takes us back to the January 8th statement of the ANC's 109th birthday. And you remember just some of the objections and tasks that the party wanted to achieve under the strengthening leagues and alliances was to have the ANC Women's League and ANC Youth League national task team make sure that the structure goes to conference. But while that's the case, we do understand that during the year of last year, the structure was, of course, embattled by quite a lot of challenges, including those that I've mentioned earlier, such as age misrepresentation and, of course, the issue of divisions within the structure. So there's quite a lot that has to happen for them before they can go to the conference, which is expected to take place in March. But as it is right now, it will be interesting to hear what comes out of that crisis meeting as well. The Deputy Minister of State Security saying that they will be going into that session to try and see what can be an amicable solution to here. And this would really, challenge the ANC if the event were to be postponed once again, looking at the fact that the ANC Women's League was postponed yesterday due to non-compliance of COVID-19 regulations. Now, Pratyan, we've been here since around 1 o'clock, and the issue of accreditation was a problem to communication, and this clearly shows that there wasn't proper organizing of the event, and this is what the end result looks like.
And I'm still going to use the word Pule embarrassing, because we saw that yesterday at the venue there in Lebua Khomu, the ANC Women's League event, which was also supposed to be an annual lecture, that one in honor of Lilian Ngoyi, this one here, Peter Mokaba. And both events seem to have more people arriving for them. There's more interest than what the venue can accommodate. And one would have thought the organizers would have borne this in mind and made sure that the required number of people were the ones who would attend. But it seems like people understood that anybody could come.
You know, yeah, that's what it looks like, Pradan, like I've said, and the message was quite clear that, you know, no accreditation or applying online was needed. Now, my colleague Joe Komani has just swinged to my right hand side, where he's showing you visuals under that tree. Now, we're just trying to show you that the protests have now moved to a different side. It seems as though they've split now. While others are at the gate, others are coming to the entrance, which was supposed to accommodate the, you know, motorcade of the president, which would then make its way to the wall. Now, they're quite upset, and it seems as though they're not backing down till the Deputy Minister of State Security, Zizikoto, addresses them. And he had conceded to the fact that there seems to be concerns around security, and this is an issue that they have to address fully in order for this event to go underway, Pradan.
Okay, Pule, let's leave it there for now. Yeah, Pule, let's leave it there for now. We'll come back to you, allow you to attend to a few things technically. We are, of course, live currently there on the ground in Polokwane at that venue, and we will return to it. It is a developing story, and we'll bring you more on this breaking story of